No question. I mean, you're 24/7. When people say, well, it was off duty, I was off hours. No, you're a United States congressman. I asked for the job. Nobody forced me into it. And that's, again, the disconnect. And the regrettable disconnect is that people back home counted on me. You know, and I know this week we're sitting here talking about Anthony Weiner and all kinds of things. Somebody out there in America is working their third job today. They won't get to see this show because they're trying to pay their mortgage. And the nation is spending time, while more get killed in Afghanistan, about our travails and our stupid behavior. And that's what kills me, Sean. Or they attack somebody like Paul Ryan, who is doing his best this generation to fix Medicare and Social Security. They attack him and claim he's evil and horrible.
Well, the president himself is lying about it. What advice, if you could tell Anthony Weiner, if he was sitting next to you right now and said, can you give me advice on what I should do, where I should go, what would you tell him?
I don't think I have the qualifications to give him advice.
I actually would argue you probably have, having been through this, you probably do have the qualifications to at least give him your insight.
In my heart, you cannot fix this from inside that building.
He needs to go.
You cannot fix your problem. Whatever it is that's troubling him, beautiful wife, you know, wonderful family, a great constituency, obviously wasn't enough for either one of us. And he's not going to get better going back into the building and hope people give him a pass.
What about, you're still obviously Republican?
Yes, sir.
Conservative in a lot of ways.
I'm a libertarian. I've always been.
More libertarian, but you align with the Republicans?
Yes.
And identify more with them? But they have a lot of different positions, definition of marriage, et cetera, et cetera. How do you reconcile that?
Without a problem. I believe every individual has the right to have various positions on issues. We're not monolithic. And I know the party has issues and challenges. But when you look at the economic picture that our party presents, that's why I'm a strong Republican.
Will you, there was a call that maybe you would run for, mayor of Palm Beach.
Right, West Palm.
Apparently you thought about it at the time. Have you thought about it? Are you open to seeking elected office again? And do you think the public would forgive you? Do you think your constituents would? Well,
from what I've gathered from the early poll results, if you will, if I was going to run for mayor, there was a fairly strong indication that I would have been successful.
Does that mean?
But that doesn't mean, well, no, that doesn't mean I need to inject myself back in the political system. I'm doing a lot of charitable work at home. I've got a radio show. I've just come off the board of a bank. I'm back in the businesses that I loved. I was an entrepreneur before I went to Congress.
Question. Do you think somebody that sends emails and has instant messages with children like you did, should that be a crime? Should people go to jail for that? Because, you know, one of the things you said you had to deal with is your exploitation. If somebody talks the way you spoke to this kid, these kids, should they go to jail?
No.
Should they be arrested?
No.
How do people trust people that talk like that with kids? How do they trust them around kids?
Well, I think, again, it goes to behavior. And, you know, Anthony's saying he didn't have contact.
So you can write anything you want to a kid on the internet?
No, again, Sean, and I'm not going to sit here and try and excuse my behavior. But should I have gone to jail? No. Absolutely not.
Mark Foley, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks. And we got to take a break. We're going to come back. Let Not Your Heart Be Troubled, our great American panel. Next. And tonight on our great American panel, he is the host of the afternoon show on KXNT, AM and FM, my affiliate, radio affiliate in Las Vegas. Alan Stock is back. He's a Democratic strategist, Fox News contributor. Joe Trippi and I, boy, do we have stories to tell. And he's an Emmy and Golden Globe nominated writer, producer of the great show Cheers, and the editor of Ricochet.com. Bob Long is with us. Rob Long. How are you guys? Good to see you.
Great.
All right, you were watching the interview with, what did you think?
I thought he came off, I mean, he was a really dignified guy. I thought it was some tough questions. It cannot be easy to be in that position. And he had the right advice.
Yeah. You know, I did sense this. I don't know. It seems like anybody that goes through this, and I even saw this with Weiner the other day, and I don't like, you know, I don't dislike him. I don't wish him any harm. But we haven't exactly gotten along great over the years. I felt sorry for him. But I don't think about what he's doing. I feel sorry for all the other people a lot more.
But, you know, with Foley in that interview saying you got to step back, he's not going to get better staying in.
Yeah.
And there's some, you could see the truth of that, at least in the Foley interview.
But they seem humbled because it's if you have a soul, you're embarrassed.
That's what I can't get. I don't get why this guy is staying. I mean, wouldn't you want to go away and climb and hide in a hole and just like leave me alone for 12 months and then come back out and do a show on CNN and nobody watches?
Yeah, I mean, that may be an interesting thing about Mark Foley is he went to rehab, he got help, he has not done a national interview in 5 years. This is the first one he did, and I have that distance, as horrible as you read the transcripts again, I think that makes a difference. Why are you shaking your head, Mr.?
No, because I don't
you're a hard ass, but go ahead.
Yeah, I am, because I don't feel sorry for these guys. I didn't feel sorry for John Ensign as soon as he found out. No. We found out what happened with him 6 months later. I had him on my show. First one to do it, and the first one to call for his resignation. And I called for it up until the time he resigned. These people knew what they were doing. They did it all along. The same with Weiner. I mean, he went through this.
Can I disagree with you one sense? I don't think they can control themselves. The reason I don't think Weiner should be a congressman, I think he's got impulse control issues. He needs help.
Oh, please.
You don't think so?
No, I think that he's high and mighty.
It's both. It's that too.
Yeah, and they can get away with it where other people can't. And I think that they know that there's a sense of.
But it's so bizarre, and they do it so often.
If he decides to say, the Constitution says it'll be the voters that get to decide whether he stays or goes.
Don't you think he should step down?
Yeah,
of course.
I think everybody believes that.
Common decency, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think it'd be the best thing for him. Yeah. But on the other hand, that's got to be scary too for him. I mean, right now that means
the weird thing to think about is
he's leaving everything he knows.
Before we had all these cell phones, before we had iPhones and BlackBerries and Twitter and Facebook, that place down in Washington D.C. must have been a cesspool. I mean, just think what it was like before these guys got caught.
Oh, and it's not now?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. It's much better now. It's gotten classier.
What about the blackmail issue? This disturbs me that, if anybody that's involved in this behavior, the person can come into your office, show you what they got, and say, I want this, this, and this. Why does that scare the living daylights out?
Because I think in some ways that when Republicans are caught, they understand what the upshot might be in this whole thing, number one. And number two, Republicans put themselves, I think, generally set a higher standard than Democrats do. Democrats don't say we're trying to be moralistic, and Republicans, try to do that. When they're caught, they do resign. Democrats,
you listen to this, Trippy. He's talking to you. Go ahead.
They don't mind being whores. I mean, it's okay. And when they're caught,
I mean, look, I think there's always the argument for tolerance. That's whatever somebody does in their private life is their private thing. But this is where, it's as in all these, it's the lying, it's the cover-up, it's the denying.
It's also
everything.
the doing it. Sending pictures of your wiener to
from the government.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. If it's government use, all that stuff.
And by the way, I was only kidding to my friend Alan because we are good friends.
Goes beyond that.
Yeah, we've been friends for a while. So you've gotten hard in your old age. You're getting tougher.
My arteries are hardening a little. Yeah, but it's okay.
And by the way, for those that don't know, that is a classic Rush Limbaugh tie.
Yes, it is.
I like it.
I've got a lot of Rush ties, of course. You probably do, too.
No, I got one. Yeah, I do. I should wear one night. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and more with our great American panel straight ahead. As we continue with our great American panel, all right, Fox News, Obama's job approval ratings down yet again. And this is not just even on the economy here, but it's 48-43, as you can see right there on the economy. His numbers are abysmal, and on every economic issue, it's like anywhere between 10 and 30 points, he's on the wrong side. What does that mean for the election?
Well, it means he's vulnerable, really vulnerable. I mean, look, he's got 2 signature pieces of legislation, right? Stimulus package that didn't work and cost a lot of money, and a health care plan that everybody hates.
Right.
It's going to be awfully hard for him to go out on the stump and argue. He's going to have to hope that the Republicans do what they usually do, which is to, shoot themselves in the foot.
Who are the 2 Republicans, as a Democrat, you'd fear the most?
Of the current field, probably Pawlenty and, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to say it out loud. I think it'd be interesting to see if Jeb Bush could get into this thing. I think he might be a bigger problem than people think. I don't think he will, but that'd be
Ann Coulter, for example, loves Chris Christie. Would like to see him. If he gets in, does he win?
Chris Christie. No, look, I don't think anybody can say Obama's in a lot of trouble yet. He still has better numbers.
Never been a president that's been reelected. 7.2%. Yeah. Well, when you don't dismiss that, that's a big deal.
Yeah, but he's got better favorable numbers than Reagan did and Carter at this point in their presidency.
Hang on a second. Reagan, the recovery was just kicking in at 7-8% growth a year at this point in terms of.
I'm not saying that he's not in trouble. I'm just saying he isn't in like this. He's a done deal.
What about Axelrod's
another Jimmy Carter? That's not going to happen.
I'm sure you heard Axelrod. I think it was on the Huffington Post, and Axelrod is out there claiming this is not going to be a referendum on Obama. I'm like, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
What world are you living in?
It's definitely going to be a referendum on Obama, and I think he's done an abysmal job. I think I think Jimmy Carter's the happiest guy right now because he's not the worst president in history. We've got the worst president sitting in the White House right now. In terms of who would run against him, who would be great, I happen to agree with Ann Coulter, either Chris Christie or Chris Christie, either one of those. I mean, he absolutely would be the best.
Well, I agree with you. I think Jeb would be a strong candidate.
Really?
I'm going to take a different position than both of you because I think any of the current crop of candidates, whoever gets the nomination, will win. I feel that confident. I think this is a referendum election, and this president has not. He's failed on the economy. He's failed on national security, and there's no way he can spin this. He'll be mean. They'll demagogue.
Do not underestimate the Republican Party's ability to nominate the wrong person. I still think that matters. The other side doesn't matter.
The Republican Party can hand this to Obama. That's
how? Tell me how.
Well, they can nominate the weakest one of the crop. They can nominate the next guy, which they usually do.
And who's the next guy?
Mitt Romney.
And you don't think Romney? I think
there'd be a bit of
there's a poll this week that shows Romney beating Obama.
These polls will change. I mean, I think the problem for Obama is going to be that he can't run, unlike the Reagan re-election campaign. There's no morning in America. I mean, Obama running a morning in America campaign.
No, there's morning in America. Everybody's mourning his presidency.
Right. But on the other hand, like we do have a crop. I think you're right. We do have a crop of Republican candidates who, for the first time in my lifetime being Republican, it's not going to be a high wire act when we see them, with a debate. An Obama-Christie debate, an Obama-Pawlenty debate, an Obama-Rick Perry debate. Those are going to be good debates.
What about Newt? You're forgetting Newt and Sarah Palin, and you're forgetting.
Newt took on a lot of.
What's that?
Flat tires today.
We'll see what happens. Rudy Giuliani may get into this race. Will that impact the race at all?
It could have an impact in the race. Rudy Giuliani is not as conservative as some of the other candidates, but on the other hand, he might be able to reach across the aisle to get the votes to be able to defeat Obama. I agree with you, by the way. I think that almost anybody could defeat Obama at this point if Republicans played smart.
You know what the problem is, Joe, is that when you and I'm giving you my opinion, fundamentally, even if job creation starts, you still got all those people you don't count any longer. They're going to come back into the marketplace. I don't see unemployment being. It's going to be around 9%. Somewhere
absolutely.
in that area.
I agree with that.
And
it's not going to. It's not going to be down anywhere near 7.
They're going to have ads about the deficit. Ads him calling America, has been arrogant, and ads about everything that every mistake he's made. And I think it's so cumulative. There's so much ammo out there. It's going to be, how does he overcome it?
So far, there just don't seem to be a whole lot of ideas on the other side.
There's plenty of ideas.
No,
they're going to cut taxes.
That's the problem. Is that the Ryan plan, which is a great plan, is having trouble getting sold.
The Ryan plan is frankly, there aren't a whole lot of good plans from anybody right now.
Yeah, they're right.
But the Ryan plan. No, I think both parties have.
All right.
I really failed the American people.
That's all the time we have left. You worked on Cheers. That's awesome. Great to see you, Joe. Good insight as always. Alan, on our affiliate KXNT in Vegas. And we're going to see you at the Talkers Convention tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night?
The Hannity Social.
I look forward to it.
Cigar Social.
Ice cream social.
Exactly. We toss it now to Greta, standing by to go on the record. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Greta, take it away.